You know, when you have one of those off days, and we all get them, where you're not on top of your game, you don't have your eye on the ball, you're not making all the right moves, so to speak. You can be unfortunate enough to run into some wrong to run into the wrong people. Um, these energies, they mix together. You're in a bad place. You run into somebody else who's not in an ideal place either, and bad things can happen, right? Things can get nasty, and even if everything turns out okay, you're left with some confusion, right? And you you're confused about the behavior of somebody else, and you want to find an explanation for yourself. These moments make you realize that there are just things that are unexplainable and that are not meant to be explained, right? Some people exhibit behavior that you don't have to understand. You don't have to get to the bottom of it. You just have to accept it, right? There are good and there are bad people. Whatever good and bad means, I mean, we have to have certain parameters, right? And yeah, there are people who are deeply hurt and who, as a result, they want to impose their will on the universe, on the world. I actually ran into one of those people earlier, somebody who just wouldn't let it go. What did I do? I think I didn't even roll a stop sign. I almost rolled it, right? I stopped, and out of a little bit of frustration, I was sort of in a hurry, not really in a hurry, but I was going somewhere. Out of a bit of frustration, I was forceful, right? The other driver was indecisive. They were very vigilant. They were like keeping an eye on me. This happened twice, by the way, but this is the second time it happened. They were keeping an eye on me, and then, out of frustration, I kind of was forceful. I moved decisively behind this guy, and it wasn't necessarily aggressive. It might have come across to somebody who's on the lookout for aggression, and there are plenty of people like that. I've been one of those people. And I just left myself wondering afterwards because this guy actually, he honked. He had another thing that I found douchey. He had a huge trucker horn. He honked, and then when we got to the next stop sign, he stopped there. And I knew what he was doing. I knew he wanted to confront me, so I stopped a little bit behind him, and he wouldn't go. And I got really irritated. I started to wonder, why do people behave in these ways, right? Why do people have a need to air out their aggression? I've been there myself, and I know what is going through that person's mind, but I don't understand it anymore because I've begun to learn to move past those things. And I think it's important to go through those phases in life. I don't think you can really know what it's like to be peaceful if you don't know what it's like to be warlike, so to speak. So I can understand that person, but I can't. So what I have the obligation to do is to find a way to accept that person's behavior without having to explain it to myself, without having to explain it into oblivion, right? I can just accept it and move on. I don't have to break it down and make it simple for myself to digest. I can just move on and live my life. And that's what a lot of us need to do. That's what certainly this guy doesn't know how to do. He's going to run into some real trouble. I mean, he must be young. If he was older, he would he would know the dangers of that type of aggression. If he's older, he's probably been in prison several times. If he's still alive, right? Because I mean, obviously he's alive. If he's younger, he will know what a prison cell looks like, unless he is beaten half to death. Like some of us need. Some of us have needed to learn. Some of us have had to go through stuff like that. But the universe makes sure that you learn that you learn what you have to learn. If you don't do it the right way, then you're going to do it the wrong way. But you're going to take the easy way, you're going to take the hard way. That's what I have to take. I don't have to rest assured that this guy's going to learn his lesson. I mean, that's none of my business. Whether or not he does, I have to just move on and just accept things for what they are. And that's what I need to do right now, because I need to get to work.